Hello all! Today I'll be working on a scarf and talking a bit about my experiences in getting and healing from a double mastectomy as a weaver. I hope you enjoy. My name is Took. I'm a disabled genderqueer weaver who's had life take odd turns, but who knows that even tattered and worn yarn still has value, and that tired joints and health flares don't have to stop the journey. I weave exclusively with secondhand fibers, aided with adaptive warping, HR and OSHA cats, and a wonderful found family. Welcome to Hawksong Weaving, where all our paths are a little bit warped. I preface this video to say, if you're going to leave a hateful comment, thank you so much for the engagement. It really helps boost my channel to folks who actually want to see it. In this video, I'm going to be focusing less on the weaving process for this scarf and more about talking about my experiences in getting a double mastectomy and the healing process as it pertains to being a weaver. If you're interested in this weaving process, I'll tag other videos of mine that go into it in more detail. Some background information for folks who aren't aware. Yes, I am genderqueer, but I largely didn't get a double mastectomy or top surgery because of that. Over the years, I went through a couple different labels as I figured out the wibbliness that is my gender. I started feeling out being non-binary, but that wasn't right. Then I wondered if I was a binary trans man, but that wasn't right either. Okay, trans masc non-binary. That fits, right? But I didn't have the amount of gender dysphoria that all of my loved ones were struggling with. So was I lying to myself? I didn't mind getting gendered as a woman while selling my weaving or being accurately gendered as the eldest daughter at a thrift store. That was an interesting experience. Finally, about 2 years ago, I learned about the concept of agender and neuroqueer, which was a breath of fresh air. Yes, that. Just let me be me. I don't care what you refer to me as. I'm just going to be over here, making my body more comfortable for me, and acknowledging that part of my autism means that at my core bit of being, I don't understand gender as applied to me. And that's okay. I understand that gender applies to other folks, and that they feel really strongly about that part of their identity. For me, it's meh while acknowledging that I like being perceived as sort of a guy and chasing that gender euphoria. Part of that is how I dress, but a large part of that is putting androgel or testosterone gel on my upper arms each morning and the double mastectomy that I got recently. Even if I wasn't getting gender euphoria and feeling so much better in regaining control of my body and presentation as a genderqueer and disabled person, I'd still want to be on testosterone and having gotten top surgery for the positive side effects from my particular health issues. My gender, or lack thereof, is really tied into the other large aspect of my identity. I'm disabled. In particular, I'm disabled with the genetic collagen disorder, hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, though through life that has cascaded into postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or POTS, and mast cell activation syndrome, or MCAS. This had some weird side effects when it came to gender envy, because I don't get gender envy in the typical sense. I don't see a person go, wow, that's the gender presentation I want. I see a bowl of thick bone broth and go, wow, that soup has more functional collagen than I do. And for me, that's gender envy. And thankfully, transmasc gender affirming care has some really great side effects regarding that collagen envy. Being on testosterone has drastically improved my postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome by leaps and bounds. I'm able to drive again. I'm able to exist in summer without passing out. Admittedly, high humidity still kicks my butt, but testosterone has helped with the POTS so much. POTS is much more common in AFAB people, or assigned female at birth people, due to blood flow and blood pooling in the abdomen. Testosterone shifts the pattern of blood flow so that it reaches my extremities much more easily, and strengthens the blood vessel walls so that they're able to maintain blood pressure more easily. And it's helping with the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome too. Testosterone aids in muscle development, that's why it's a controlled substance, because gym bros misuse it. My joints don't stay in place on their own. I'm in physical therapy doing exercises that will help build the muscle around my joints, so that between that and the exoskeleton of braces that I'm gathering, I'll be in much less daily pain. And the daily pain is part of why I pursued the double mastectomy. Yes, there were the usual back and neck pain from having an H cup, but there was a lot more pain than usual given some medical issues I've had throughout my teen and adult life. I won't get into it too much, but due to life circumstances and a side effect of the over-medication of Risperdal that I was prescribed for the wrong diagnosis, to no one's surprise, currently, the AFAB child in the 90s was slapped with a generalized anxiety disorder diagnosis rather than the actual autism and CPTSD, I've been mildly lactating since I was 16 years old, and I've been struggling with chronic mastitis and chronic pain that entire time. It wasn't until this past winter where I had a breast cancer scare that I learned that the doctor who saw me when I was 16 gave me the worst possible advice to deal with the lactation. Do not self-express once a week. That will prolong lactation. The good news is that it wasn't breast cancer. The bad news was that so much internal scar tissue had built up that I was in constant sharp stabbing pain. So even if I wasn't transmasc agender, I wanted them chopped off as they hurt constantly. I'm so incredibly lucky to live in Northampton, Massachusetts, where I can be my true self and access the healthcare that I need. There's one surgeon in Massachusetts that doesn't have a BMI limit, which has been proven over and over again to not have an effect on top surgery, and will take folks with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and autism. All of those syndromes can affect anesthesia due to rapid metabolism, so often surgeons won't touch us unless it's an emergency. During the month of August, I fundraised as much as I could to help cover the costs that my insurance wouldn't cover, and meal prepped, gathered resources, and my found family and friends around me, and generally prepared as much as I could. Due to my health issues, I was going to be kept overnight for observation, so I sorted out a hotel room for both my partners to stay in while I was on the operating table and while I was being kept overnight. This is how I know they really, really love me. My two very much not morning people partners voluntarily woke up at 6 a.m. and dealt with my, quote, nervous, twitchy duck driving, end quote, for the hour-and-a-half drive to Worcester. There was a lot of waiting around. I was supposed to be there at 9:30 a.m. I didn't actually start getting prepped until 11:30 a.m. The anesthesiologist was fantastic. The best way to describe him is as an aggressively cheerful Italian man. He was really good about listening to and hearing me voice my concerns regarding my rapid metabolism, my MCAS, and my PTSD around things being put near my mouth or in my mouth without my consent. To help combat that, they gave me something to help with the anxiety before wheeling me back, and he promised that I wouldn't wake up mid-surgery. I was wheeled back around 1 p.m. and made the surgery staff laugh by calling all of the lights and such in the surgery room a biblically accurate surgery room. Around 3 o'clock, I was waking up in post-recovery with a goth IT engineer partner at my bedside, an opera singer partner on standby at the hotel room. I made sure Goth got footage of me because I'm hilarious when I come out from anesthesia, and you can't turn off content creation brain.
Hey, they're off, and they're not coming back on, and they're not going to grow back because I'm not a salamander.
Yep.
And I'm not a newt. I'm a frog. Do frogs do that? I don't know if frogs do that. But they're off, and I'm really excited. And I'm mildly annoyed because they woke me up in the middle of a really good dream where I sold a shawl. But yeah, it's off, and it's off. And I move the camera, you're blocking your face, and you're pretty, and I love you. And I was really pretty too, and you're pretty, and I love you. And they're off, and they're not going to grow back because I'm not a newt. So you knew that it was Newt Gingrich in Dropout, so that's really good.
Yep.
That's really funny. But yeah, they're off, honey. They're off, and I don't have to deal with them ever again. And I get to throw out my bras because they were dying. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm funny at least. I may make a mug about not being a newt. After a while, I got offered some food, and I was really excited about the applesauce. My partners joke that I'm an old man tortoise, and there's a meme about the old man tortoise being excited for his appy slices, so appy sauce. After a bit, I got wheeled up to my overnight room. It had a great view, and the night nurse was great. The only downside regarding the entire experience was that I had made sure to have it on record each appointment and each time I called anyone leading up to the appointment that I was not to be prescribed opioids for pain management under any circumstances. And my surgeon, despite agreeing to my face multiple times not to do so, did so anyways. The night shift nurse was really good about it, but the morning nurse was really pushy about it to the point that I lodged a complaint regarding her conduct, which is not something I ever do lightly. I grew up in southern Vermont as the child of a social worker. I had a front row seat to the opioid crisis there. I deal with chronic pain, and I'm very, very hyper aware of the slippery slope that opioids and my particular set of depression and CPTSD would have. I don't mess about with them ever, even if it was safe to do so, given my mast cell activation syndrome and the random allergies, life-threatening allergies that can cause. Later on that day, we headed home, stopping for some burritos on the way, which were devoured, like inhaled, like holy crap, I was so hungry. Once we got back home, the recovery went really well, with some bumps as we got settled in. I had a panic attack in the bathroom at one point, at which point Goth IT engineer partner broke her toe in an effort to reach me as fast as she could, which then dampened her ability to do the housework while I was on bed rest. Thankfully, the support system we have came in clutch and everyone rallied around us. It was like a movie montage, especially as I was so out of it that I only remember bits and pieces. To no one's surprise but mine, I ended up having a really bad MCAS and POTS flare in response to having 10 plus pounds removed from my front. 1.5 pounds of which turned out to be the internal scar tissue, which I found out after the biopsy. That's a lot of weight of scar tissue! I'm really, really glad that I have these off. I'm in so much less pain. But I'm not good at not doing anything. Like, really not good at it. Being a prisoner in my increasingly smelly and sticky body was hell. Having to accept help with sponge baths, with bathroom usage, with feeding myself and my family, and keeping my household in order, it sucked. But it really helped reaffirm that I have family, I have a support network, I have a home and people I love. Which is a lot, and not something that I'm ever going to be taking for granted. Now for some notes from recovery for whoever might find them useful, listed in no particular order. If you have a chronic illness that gets flares triggered by stress and/or physical exertion, you will be having a flare post-top surgery or post-double mastectomy, post-surgery in general. Eat as much protein as you can. You are healing, your body is burning calories at a rapid rate, do your best to keep up with it. If you deal with chronic pain, the normal answer after an amputation about your pain is not a 2 out of 10. Clarify with your now horrified nurses that you are currently at for what most people would be a 7 to 8, but for you is a 2. Despite feeling really good during the initial post-operation, that is a ton of numbing injections, and that feeling good should not be trusted. Sit your butt down and rest. If you have been trained by life circumstances to push back when people say no, sit, rest in that gentle tone of voice, surround yourself with people who will look you dead in the eye and say sit the F down now. Bonus points if they are tiny and terrifying. Your cats will be incredibly pissed off that you have left their field of supervision and returned mortally wounded. Cats will attempt to make you feel better by laying directly on the incisions and cussing you out by meowing directly in your face. And finally, hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome sets you up for failure in a unique way regarding healing post-surgery. I've spent my entire life overextending my limbs and just accepting pain and knowing that I'll smack my joints back into place afterwards. That is not a good idea when the pain is stitches holding your front together. As I make this video, I'm now a month out from surgery and I'm still getting my stamina back. But I'm back to weaving and art markets, I can lift most things again, and I'm slowly but surely getting my stamina back to where it was. I was previously able to do 80% out of an able-bodied person's 100% on a really good day. I'm working my way back up and estimate I'm around 60% now, but that's better than the 10% for the first few days back. I'm now 10 plus pounds lighter, as each of them was a little over 5 pounds each, with the left one having over 1.5 pounds of internal scar tissue. Again, I still tire more easily, but I'm getting back there, and being able to hobbitify my clothes to get clothes that feel like me rather than just fabric meant to cover myself enough for society, 100% worth it. Remember, if something is going to give you a better quality of life, it's worth pursuing. Whether that be adaptive weaving methods instead of knitting, gender-affirming care that has positive side effects, or anything really, go after it as much as you can. We're stuck in malfunctioning meat sacks. We might as well decorate and remodel them if it makes us feel better. As always, I'm so glad for the odd turn that your path took that brought you here. Thank you for spending time with me at Hawksong Weaving, where we're all a bit warped, and I hope that you have a truly excellent week.